Uh, Hello. So, I think, I think this is it. I don't know. Neil, can you confirm maybe via your browser of choice? Oh, I should be too able to do that myself as well. That's right now. I don't have any. Maybe. Yes. Hello. Yes. So, okay. It's working. People can hear me. They're waving already. Hello, Angus. So very exciting. Tonight, the second time I have a guest on stream, and the first time I had Father Fish. It's over a month ago. It was plagued with technical difficulties. I hope that this will be not the case tonight. And yeah, my guest tonight is Neil Phillips, who is the man behind the YouTube channel named Pond Lab, and also another YouTube channel called UK Wildlife. And he does lots of other things, of course. We'll get to that in a little bit. Anyways, I'll just get the right scene going here, so we have something to look at, and you folks should be able to hear Neil as soon as he says something. Welcome, Neil. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's great to be here.
So tonight we get to chat about what we see and observe cool pond creatures. Hey, Kim Minnie, you already commented a while ago. I've been in the waiting line. So I have to excuse myself because I'm still operating on a wobbly table. Yes. Yes. I'm sorry. But unfortunately, yeah, I can't change that. The real lab isn't ready yet. Concrete floor is already there.
Yeah, as I was saying before, I'm filming on a wobbly table when I'm doing my filming at the moment, so
Yeah,
it must be
it
a thing with
doesn't
us
work
pond
great
creature people.
with water. It's kind of a.
We should know better, but there we go.
There we go. Yeah, so you'll excuse the shakiness. What we're looking at is a sample I collected about a month ago, I think. Yeah, about a month ago in a small garden pond, or yeah, it's a public garden that belongs to a monastery not far from my home, and they had this is pond, and I dipped my bucket, and yeah, I mean, you can already see there's some movements. Some
A nice Hydra coming in.
several different little critters. And yeah, Hydra, green Hydra. That day I took 2 samples, and both of them got Hydra, one green, one brown. And they made it to this day, so I'm quite pleased with that. The other sample also has tons of worms and flatworms and fun stuff. But Hydra are always kind of fun to watch.
I've only ever found Hydra 2 or 3 times, I think, maybe 4. So
I mean, they are
yeah, very jealous of that.
really hard to see, or only under specific lighting conditions. They tend to the green ones tend to for me they tend to gather in the best lit spot of the jar.
Yeah.
So like the one
Yeah,
that's
that
closest to the
the
lamp.
one of the ways to find them is to put some plants in a jar and wait for them to appear on the glass, which is one way I did it actually. The other way I found one was putting a bit of plant in an aquarium for decor when I was photographing something, and this huge brown hydra, about 2 centimeters long, came out, and the other one was actually attached to a damselfly nymph, which I thought was pretty cool. So,
A hydra rabbit
yeah.
on a
So,
damselfly nymph. Like
mm,
an extra
so,
arm to catch stuff with.
yeah.
Yeah, I may fly. So this thing here, I don't know. I think pond. When you were pond dipping, Neil, you called these pond olives. Is that
Yeah, that'd be
right?
my guess on that. Yeah, it looks right for it, but there's a very similar lake olive, but being that it's in a pond
Uh
sample,
huh. Okay.
usually them. Yeah, and they've got a very wide distribution as well. I think they're the one of the widest distributed insect species in the world
Oh, really?
because
Okay.
they've got whereas most mayflies need flowing water and high oxygen, these guys can survive without oxygen for like 3 months at a time. It's absolute madness. They live in frozen ponds in Sweden, and they're like the only things that survive that can survive. So they get all the algae to themselves in spring. Amazing
Mm,
little things.
okay. But they do have these plates that kind of. I don't know. I think I read that it's not. They're not like essential for respiration, but I'm sure they
Mm.
help. Or they
Yes.
don't work as gills exactly over the surface area.
Um,
They
well, funny enough,
also.
I've been reading up on this stuff because damselflies with their three tails, they don't need them as well. But if the oxygen level drops, they're less likely to survive. So that I think they assist with respiration. So they've got a high surface area, haven't they? And they because insects breathe in a weird way, don't they? They sort of the air goes through spiracles on land insects and goes sort of into their body through lots of ever decreasing tubes. Um, but with aquatic insects, where they've evolved from land living insects, they've still got those. The tubes called is it trachea? I want to say trachea.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Um,
so.
they're still in the body, but obviously they can't get to the air, so they just come into contact with the skin. Or well, so the cuticle, isn't it? And an insect, not skin, but equivalent of our skin. And in the gill, there's a high concentration of them, and obviously a higher surface area because it's a very thin, wide thing,
Yeah,
isn't it? And yeah, so that assists with them getting oxygen. But yeah, I think they can survive without some of them, but they'll struggle if the oxygen level drops, I should think.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, when they
a lot of times
when
it's
they
like that.
overwinter and when they hold their breath, it has to be winter, so they need less oxygen anyway because it's cooler. And apparently they sit just beneath the ice, so there's actually slight oxygen there, and they use anaerobic respiration, so the same as when we get
Oh, really?
um, like
Okay.
when we get this when you're running too
Yeah,
long and you can't have
yeah.
enough oxygen, you get
And they have like lactic
is it-
acid.
I say lactic acid.
I
Yeah,
think so.
lactic
Yeah.
acid stuff. Yes, it's all to do with that sort of thing. I'm not a chemist, so
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
think
the full.
even chemists. There's so
Yeah,
much chemistry going on in nature that we have trouble finding someone who knows everything.
yeah, they're quite remarkable insects, pond olives. But yeah, if you find a mayfly in a pond that isn't pristine or sort of
No,
on the
this one
margin of a
isn't
lake or
isn't
something, it's almost
pristine.
always a pond olive, unless it's the weird shaped canid ones which are a bit stockier and wider and got a weird
Stonefly.
wing thing going on. So you can, yeah.
I mean, I find it so. One of the most interesting things is that water is like almost like honey at the scale, really
Oh god, yeah,
viscous, and every animal has its own kind of characteristic respiration movement. The water flea just treading the water that's inside that passes through their carapace, and the pond olives beating these pads, and the chironomid midges that wiggle around, and the worms, the dero worms that kind of waft their tails, and all these different styles that all serve the same purpose, just to exchange the water that is touching the surface of the body
yeah.
in most cases.
Yeah, because because it's diffusion, if they just sit still and don't move the gills or anything like that, eventually the water around them will lose all of its oxygen, won't it? So they have to keep the flow going somehow just to which is why the water fleas have got those little legs going inside them, and they swim with their antennae. Evolution's weird.
Evolution is
I
weird.
have these perfectly good legs, but I'll swim with my antennae instead.
Yeah.
Madness.
And what do I want to say? The water mite. There's a shot of a water mite in the video I last published, where that is eating a copepod, and it's constantly passing its hind legs across its abdomen, like stripping the just the layer that is touching the abdomen, and it does that yeah, non-stop while it's eating. It's rare for these guys to hold still, but when they do, they kind of keep their hind legs moving and just go around their abdomen to get enough oxygen.
If you catch some of the river species, like especially stoneflies, and put them in a still water aquarium to photograph them, like I've done, they start doing push-ups to try and get the water to flow over them. It's quite amusing to see.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you are a professional wildlife expert. Is that true? On your website, you
Yeah,
have
kind of.
you say you're
I
working
guess I
at
kind of am.
a country park.
I have been. Yeah, I need to update that.
Ah, okay.
I've worked for the last oh god, 2009. Yeah, 15 years I've worked in environmental education. So
Uh-huh.
if you've got a school group coming in, sometimes adult groups and stuff like that, I'll be one that takes them out and does pond dipping, for example, or go looking for insects or
Yeah,
surveying the meadows and for plants and stuff like that. So yeah, but it all goes back. Like all of it was almost cliche to say, isn't it? Oh, as a child, I love nature, but it's true. I just never went through that phase where I lost interest. I just kept up with it, and yeah,
yeah,
and then
that's great.
started up wildlife photography, which just made it even more in depth. So,
Yeah.
mm.
And what are you doing today? Or today? What are you, if I may ask?
Well, long story short, I had to step down from my other job, but I now technically am a professional photographer and wildlife filmmaker, but that's more to do with the fact that I'm not earning much money from anything else. So yeah, that long
Okay.
boring story about all that. But yeah, who knows? I've had a few bits on TV and things like that, so we'll see what happens. But
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, I
hope I
mean,
still want to get back into the education. I think that it's too much fun.
yeah, I mean, the if you have a passion like that to share it with other people and sow that seed for the coming generation, that's even better.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I just love doing it, and
Is
also I do
the
talks for clubs and stuff.
I think the volume is okay. Oh, Father Fish is here. Hello, by the way.
Oh, both other fish.
Mayfly. Oh my god, it knocked the Hydra down. Just reading that back of in the comments. Sorry.
Yeah, the
Cyclops. There
hydro
was a
remnant.
Cyclops visible earlier.
I saw one. Yeah, I saw a glimpse an ostracod as well. I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah, yeah.
disappeared pretty quick.
You're a um have a special relation to Ostracods. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I did my yes, I did my master's degree. Was looking through mud samples for their because they've got two bivalve shells. It was looking for their shells and identifying them and comparing them to the environmental factors that have been recorded for each lake. So it's to see what you can do with ostracods because obviously they've got a fossil record that goes back what 500, 600 million years. They're one of the longest running fossils, and um, you can
That is
take isotope samples
so
from the
crazy.
calcium in them and stuff.
So
But you
these
can, with more recent sediments, you can sort of find a lake sediment and if you know what that species needs habitat-wise, you can do a paleo environment. So you can say, oh, this was a eutrophic lake because it's got this assemblage of ostracods. But they haven't got all the
Okay.
data for that. So my master's degree was looking at that. Though I never did get around to writing it up scientifically. So the data's there for somebody, but maybe one day, maybe while I'm not working full time, I'll sort that out and get that done. But yeah, I just love ostracods.
Adaptations.
Even though I never saw a live one in my entire course, it was sort of 3 or 4 years later that I actually finally found one, and I was very excited when I did. Flatworm
Okay.
sneaking into the shop.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that like the Earth was a very, very different place, and these little creatures were already there.
Or even today, you can get ostracods from pretty much the bottom of the ocean, all the
To the
way up through
puddle
every marine environment.
on a dirt road.
Yeah, to a puddle. Well, even on land, they live in leaf litter as well. Damp leaf litter, which
Have you
I
ever
find
seen a
crazy.
terrestrial? I mean,
No, I know
one other
roughly where they
question
are.
I wanted to ask you. I mean,
Yeah.
in my book, it says like ostracod identification species level is something for experts that
Mm,
you need to look at the bristles of their limbs and stuff.
yeah.
How do you do that with fossils? You only have the valve shells, no? You
The
can,
valves have got certain shapes, and you get yeah, with difficulty. But the when you haven't got all those legs and body in the way, they've got
Mhm.
muscle scars. So that like
Ah,
in the
yeah,
middle of the
those.
valve, you'll have like 8 little dots. Kind of, you can
Yeah,
see them quite often on
you
the live
can
ones.
on live ones as well. Just in the middle of the shell,
Yeah,
some reddish
yeah.
or often reddish dots. Yeah, I've seen those. Very fun.
Oh, there's a cyclops coming through.
Yeah, I do have a because this one is kind of well, there's a flatworm that we can take a closer look at still.
Harassing the mayfly. What I find amazing about flatworms is they're literally 2 layers of cells, a few eyes, a mouth, and some genitals. Yet they take out, midges. I've seen one attack a leech even, um, and their
Okay,
mouth's halfway up their body, so it's on the underside halfway up. There's this pharynx. It's a pharynx. It's like a sharp
it's
tubey thing
like a
comes out,
trunk,
and
just a vacuum tube. Yeah, this is one
and
of
of
the
course,
ones that
famously, they
have
have no anus.
yeah. This is one that has like the row of eyes around the edge, I think.
Oh
Doesn't
yeah,
have the two
but
big eye spots
usually
at least.
polycelus. I think sometimes not all of them are polycelus, obviously, but
Yeah, yeah.
there's one in the UK and probably Europe called Polycelus felina, and it's got two like Batman
Cat's
ears. It
eyes.
obviously looks like a cat, hence felina. I call it the Batman
Yeah.
flatworm. I've only found it
And
once with kids. But
but Hydra are only have two layers of germ cells as well. I think no, they are
yeah,
like evolutionary, like kind of on the same
yeah, they
level.
haven't even got bilateral symmetry, have they? They're like in the old scheme of things, they were the level below, weren't they? But they don't use the word primitive anymore because it's not primitive if it's lasted half a billion years, is it? It's obviously a good
No,
idea.
it's a very 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 ancient animals. That's kind of another thing that I love about these this kind of observing pond creatures that evolution is such a crazy thing, and you can um, yeah, you can see examples of all stages. Obviously, it's not one that evolved into the other, but also like the annelid worms that form animal chains and crazy stuff like that. And at the same time, you can have hydra and flatworms that are super well. What's the right word then? Primitive isn't the right word. It's
Um, Less
evolved,
derived, I
no,
think, is the word.
less evolved.
Yeah. Oh no, but they can't even use that because they've obviously evolved, just not. Yeah, so I mean, no less.
They,
You've got
they
less
have
derived, I
done
think is the
less.
term they use.
They have
Because a lot
diverged
of these
less
things,
from the original model than we did
yeah,
because
yeah,
it
for which
wasn't
technically isn't
necessary,
evolved, of course. Yeah.
of course.
They're just a lot of these things have evolved, haven't they? It's just you can't see it if you know what I mean. So there's some things they say like sharks and crocodiles. Oh, they're the same as they were when dinosaurs were around. They're not in any way. You know, the basic design maybe is the same, but they're very different species to what you had then. And I
Yeah,
imagine
true.
similar happened. But I think there's only I don't know if there's any fossil hydras because
I
there's
wouldn't
no hard
imagine. I
parts. A
mean,
lot of these things.
they don't fossilize
There's only a handful of
particularly well,
fossil,
I guess.
handful of fossil jellyfish. I think. You know, and think how
But
many more
for
of them there are in the
arthropods,
sea.
like arthropods, the ostracods are like the oldest, or no, some of the oldest, right? Not the oldest, because
Yeah, so
there's
sea
like
hydra could be even older, but
trilobites and all the other
we
things
wouldn't be able
from
to find
the
the fossils, would
Cambrian
we?
are also
Mm.
present in the.
I think there's flatworm-like animals in the Precambrian, but
Wouldn't surprise
you know
me.
it's hard to classify those animals, and sponge-like animals as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
there's
it's all
more
amazing
comments.
stuff.
Can I ask what kind of container you have this in? Also, I'm assuming no filter since it's a pond sample. It is literally a pond sample. It's I don't think there's a filter that exists that could work in this environment because it's very small. It's
Visions
a
of a
shot
teeny
glass of
tiny sponge
a
filter now.
shot glass of water,
Yeah.
basically. So no filter. Yes, no filter. Sam Elas is here. Hello, Sam. I'm happy you're here. Remember you. He's a regular, by the way. Gary Croft's Microscopy. Man, Gary Croft. I'm on the same Discord server as you. I remember you from Diet Toms, man. Welcome. And he uses a digital microscope. I think I don't remember the name. Maybe you post that, but it produces really nice footage as well. And he has a YouTube channel that features this nice footage of moss and other things like that. Are there unique populations of microfauna based on unique environments? Well, unique is I think unique is a big word for this. What's your take, Neil? I think there's like depending on the
Yeah.
conditions, of course, there will be different constellations
Mm.
combinations.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you'll get different. I imagine you certainly at this scale, you'll get different species in different areas of the pond, let alone different ponds. So, um, you know, you get it with the macrofauna as well, don't you? So if you've got a good quality pond, it will have lots of damselflies, dragonflies, caddisflies. If you've got a crummy quality pond, it'll just have water lice and you know the as I've been finding out the cragornix. It's a gamma, not gammarus, but one of the gammaridae, you know, freshwater shrimps, amphipods. That's the word I'm looking for. Um,
All
and
right.
they,
Okay.
whereas gammarus is quite fussy, this cragornix, which is the American species that's came to southern England about 100 years ago, and I think
Uh-huh.
someone spread it to mainland Europe as well. It's the blue one. If you find a blue,
I
less than a
did. I
centimeter long,
did. Ah, I
yeah, it's
did. And
cragornix.
I didn't look
Oh,
I didn't know what
yeah,
to yeah, what to make of it. Crazy.
but yeah,
Okay, I
certainly,
think it passed in my sample. It was in a sample with lots of
yeah.
isopods.
I think that
Got
yeah,
outcompeted.
they're not as hardy as a water louse, but they're more hardy than the other amphipods, which is
Yeah.
why they've done so well in
Okay.
British ponds, I guess.
I mean, there
But yeah,
are
going back to Starfish's question, yeah,
some
the
other.
I was certainly with the ostracods, I found different lakes had different assemblages of ostracods, and it's certainly a case of water fleas as well, or people call them Daphnia, but that's you shouldn't call water fleas Daphnia, by the way, unless it's only one genus of the 40 odd, I think it is. And if you get a big reservoir, you can get these really cool water fleas, which are about a centimetre long, more transparent than the Chabarus phantom midge larva, and they hunt other water fleas, and they look ridiculously
Yeah,
alien things.
yeah.
I need
I
to get
would
a
love to
picture and
find
go
one
look
of
for some.
those. Did you find one of
Mm.
those already?
I was planning to this autumn, but I couldn't get permission. I couldn't get hold of anyone to get permission to get a boat and go out in the middle of a reservoir and look for some. But
Mhm.
um, I think I need to just go and find the ranger and explain to him that I'm not a madman. It's a bit of a weird request. Can I net plankton from your reservoir, please? I
Please,
guess.
no, no fish. I'm not a fisherman. I want a net
Yeah.
plankton. Oh, there's a annelid visible poking around in the sediment. There's Dero worms in the sample.
Is that the ones with the funky gills?
Yeah, I love them. The first time I saw one of those, I
Let's
was
find
like
some.
so blown away. I was like, this is it. This is for me. Like some kind of alien flower wafting in a breeze. Yeah.
Well, your water lice are obviously, sorry, water fleas are obviously happy because all the ones I emptied out a a trug of water, which is fun enough. My next video on my pond. um, it's a year old, maybe 2 year old trug full of water and leaves and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's amazing how much was in there. But all my water fleas have started producing eggs, and that's what they do. So they're all female when times are good, and they just give birth to more females and more females. And then when it starts getting colder in autumn, or the water level drops, or the water quality drops, they switch to producing males, and then obviously mate and make eggs. And these eggs, they got ehipa. They look like a saddle shape.
Ah, yeah,
I think there's two eggs in there.
Epiphium.
You've probably seen them.
No?
Mm.
Yeah, I've read the
Sometimes you can see them
term.
inside the
Don't
water
ask me how
fleas.
to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's something from the Latin for horse.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
they,
a
um,
P in it. No?
mm,
Or
it,
several
it,
P's.
ehipa. Yeah, I know Eohippus is early horse, so that's the limit of my Latin. Um, and they're really cool things because when I'm clearing out this truck, there's all these sort of like seeds on the surface, and I looked in close, and there's loads of these, and they have been found sort of sticking to bird feathers, the fur of animals and stuff like that, and they'll blow in the wind too. So you can imagine they'll blow around, find a depression in the ground, and then it rains, and suddenly they've colonized a puddle.
Yeah.
And um, my favourite one is a paper where there's one stuck to the back of a notonector, a greater water boatman or back swimmer. So that if that
Yeah.
flies to another pond, it takes it with it. It's amazing things,
Piggyback.
really cool things. Water, it's seriously underrated.
Yeah,
Gonna
and
have to
the
do a video on them.
other small crustaceans as well. I mean, the poppypods and
Mm.
ostracods. I don't know
Cool
if
little
they are
group.
still in the same group. Aren't they like
Mm.
maxillipedes or something? However, I
Yeah,
mean, ostracods can be found anywhere. I
mm.
think, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that I didn't fact check that, but that like
Mm.
a good percentage of ostracods being eaten by waterfowl just makes it through the digestive
Yeah,
tract intact, and so the duck.
yeah. Same with water snails
With snails as well.
and the eggs of water.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's a paper came out a little while ago about that. I think is it hydrobia, one of the small ones, but yeah, lots of things that anything that's got a shell or whatever's got a chance of getting through. And the eggs, of course, of all these things too. Um, I think was it the eggs of flatworms? I think flatworms have got like an egg capsule that's pretty hardy. Most of these pond creatures, if they can't fly, have got a hardy cyst or egg capsule, which is how they get around and end up in pots in your garden, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you do need some patience
Mm.
to get them
And we've
in the
got
pot.
fairy shrimps. They're quite rare in the UK,
Really?
and
I
they've
haven't
got
seen
dra-
one ever.
I've only seen them once, maybe twice. And the one pond in the whole of England and Wales that's got tadpole shrimps, I've seen them as well. And the fun thing about the fairy shrimps is they live in there's a place called Salisbury Plain, which is famous for Stonehenge, for those who don't live in England.
Mm.
Um, and next to it, so this Salisbury Plain, a large area of it is military only. You're not allowed to go on there.
Ah, yeah, that's
And they
always great
train
for
people
nature.
driving tanks around. So they drive these tanks around, tearing around, and cause all these furrows or
Yeah.
tank tracks in the. And guess what's in them? Fairy shrimps. And the so they are tank transported. The eggs stick to the mud on the tanks, and they get moved around by,
Thanks.
which is probably a fairly unique thing in nature,
Yeah.
I guess. But you'd
Oh
have thought
my
of
god.
tanks of moving around pond creatures, but there we go.
Yeah, but yeah, the military zones are always teeming with nature. Or it's nothing exceptional. I know that in Germany we have like what's that yellow-bellied toad species?
Oh yeah, for
Uh,
fire belly toad we call them. Yeah.
Firebelly, yes,
Yellow.
and they're almost extinct. But in some military areas, they are still there because they have the small puddles that are regularly disturbed. Let's call it. Let's call it disturbed.
Mm.
So
It's funny that, isn't it?
I do have another sample, another glass, and the other one is from my trusty local pond. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure if we can get a great look at the worms. I think that might be just too much oxygen for them to really stick their tails out. I mean, I can zoom in before we change the sample and get a little closer view of some of these critters.
That's
And
okay.
we have,
Oh,
yeah, half an hour. We're already half an hour in, Neil. Oh my god.
ow.
Uh, maybe
Time
I'll
flies.
change the sample after
Mm.
because I have some stuff planned.
Go for it.
So I did a very little video on how I collected the sample, uh, and I just play that during the changing of the sample. I'll be right back. I don't think the microphones are active in that scene, so we won't hear anything. But enjoy the footage. See you in a bit. No, you can hear me at least. So yeah, this is just a very uh, murky pond. It's a fishing pond, a private little fishing pond, and I know there's one corner that sees more sunlight than the other edges, for example, and the leaves. Yeah, there's trees hanging over it, so there's lots of leaf litter dropping in, and that's usually where I go and where I've sampled a few times already. And that's where this is coming has come from. Wait a second, there's something weird. Need to have a look at here. What's that? Very. Yeah, and even in this, Avery is here. Hey, uh, welcome. Really, really dirty here. I think I'm going to do a little
A chat up
modification
on my
on
phone.
my rig.
Brittany said something about diving beetles making it through frog digestive systems. Yeah, I saw there's a paper on that as well. I forgot about that one. About things that birds eat and just don't get eaten, or don't get digested.
I'm sorry. I need
Just
to do something real quick. Okay, we're back. We're officially back in business.
excellent.
Just wobbling a little more.
There's a few questions in the comments. Is
Okay,
there? Lot, lots of
the
comments.
chat.
Right.
Who Katachin? I don't know. So let's see what people write. Brittany Hahn talks about the fish. Knows about diatoms.
Ostracod.
Yeah, diatoms for diatoms are teeny
Yeah.
tiny. Hi, Brittany. Who makes what out of frog digestive systems? Diving beetles make it out
They go
of.
straight through.
They go through. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, they have. There's a paper on it. I think it was New Zealand or Australia or somewhere, but I bet you ours do it too.
Okay. Yeah, nature is it's like a battle of evolution. Like the isn't there the
Well, you
story
got to
about
get
the
to New
snake
Zealand
and the
somehow, and
toad?
there's
The snake and the toad evolving, with the snake eating the toad, and the toad like inflating itself to not being eaten, and evolution tries to top itself again and again. So okay, I don't see any. Yeah, I mean, Father Fish asks, "Are you in the Katochkin clan?" Don't know what to say to
mm,
that. Is that question for me? If it's for me, no. Sam Ehlers thanks us for doing this. You're welcome, Sam. I'm glad you're here. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm glad people enjoy this as much as I do.
mm,
At least some people. Okay, so new sample. Okay, we can go to the top. That's great. Little ostracod going along there. So in here, I've found some. I think it's beetle larvae, but yeah, there's lots of different beetle larvae. So
indeed.
I'm not quite sure. I don't think they are predatory, but I think there are beetle larvae that aren't predatory. Anyways, let's try to find them.
Mm,
They should be rooting around
good
somewhere.
point.
There's a lot of copepods.
Oh, there's a pair of mating pair there, I think.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I don't know. Sometimes they go after each other, and I don't know what copepod mating looks like. If it's
Well,
brief
yeah, I assume
or
they're mating. They might be eating each other.
so. There's one of these up here.
To fleas.
Yeah. There's a chironomid midge in the center of the screen. in the shadow of the just sticking, poking out, peeking out,
Oh yeah, I got him. I got him. Yeah,
building his tube.
I was telling you before we started, wasn't I? I had some of them in an aquarium with a uh, Aerobedella Genesis
Ah, yeah,
leech,
yeah.
a brown leech, as they come in
Hello,
there,
dinner.
and it was sucking them up like spaghetti,
Oh, we talked about
which
this
was
on the stream. I think it was the stream when I asked you
yeah. But I got it wrong,
if
didn't I?
you.
I thought it was a different leech, and that one didn't. I know actually.
It was
I thought all the
Haloptella
ones that had
stagnalis on the
jaws didn't.
stream.
Mm, yeah,
Thick
and I thought
cover
it was
of
jawless, and it wasn't.
protists on this branchy thing here, and in some other areas as well.
Oh.
Ha! Nipper! I think Nipper was the one who told us that horse leeches suck up uh, rainworms like spaghetti. Oh, I have these flares like some slight rainbow colors in the bottom of the screen, and I'm not sure
Mm,
what's causing them, and not sure if I can do something about it
it's
right
pretty.
now.
Leave it.
Yeah, Nipper, you have to stick around. It's sorry.
Hello, snail.
Hey, bladder
Oh,
snail.
yeah,
Yeah,
Physilla.
they're so fast. Fastest tornadoes in the pond.
Mm. Mayfly wants attention. I know he's wagging his gills. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, this one is going in it.
Mm. It's desperate to get on the camera, it seems. Right in the middle. And these guys, I've got some video of these guys scraping algae off the. You're going to do it on cue? No. Oh well, that'd have been
Oh,
too.
he's not ready for the big
Oh,
stage.
or is he?
Just
Oh no,
keeps
he's.
and there's another one in the background here. Nice
Oh yeah.
image. What's he doing?
Yeah.
What are you
Oh, Bob's
doing?
showing off for the camera again.
Yeah. And yeah, I think there is the little white tufts sticking onto things are
Mm.
probably Vorticella or some other paratric ciliate, something like that. Some areas are very densely covered with it. But of course, the thing I wanted to show off is nowhere to be seen. Erp.
Always the way.
They are. I don't know what they are called. People are talking about those plates on the mayfly nymphs, if I understand
Yeah, the gills.
correctly.
Gills are,
And
when you read the keys, they call them gills. So
okay,
got the midge having a party there.
and a snail with some
Oh,
protests on it. But yeah, oh, the witch got into a tussle with a ostracod.
yeah. They can be quite aggressive ostracods. If you get a big group of them, they'll take down bigger prey. I heard a story of someone that had a tadpole tank for their kids, frog tadpoles, and they put some ostracods in there. Next thing they know, the ostracods start eating the tadpoles.
That is gnarly. I don't know.
It must have been a weakened tadpole, but still.
I've watched a video where the guy also said that they can like gang up on bigger prey like fish, even
Mm,
fish.
wow.
I had a kind of a hard time imagining that, but yeah, I mean, Nature is hardcore.
by 1,000 cuts, wouldn't it? Or 1,000 Ostracod bites.
Yeah, it's like a human getting overwhelmed by like bees or something. And these water flea are so red. I don't know. They have this under the compound microscope. I'm familiar with some microcrustaceans having like these red oil droplets in their body. I'm not sure if that's the
I
reason why
vaguely
these
remember
are
thinking
now
about
red.
when the oxygen's low, they get it might even be hemoglobin, but they get use iron to.
But
I think that's
usually
water
in the
fleas.
autumn, when the water
Mm.
temperatures go down, the oxygen levels should go up theoretically.
Yeah,
Just
unless there's
that
lots of rotting
I
vegetation and
was
less
just gonna
plants
say all the
photosynthesizing.
rotting leaves are
Yeah.
not
Mm.
favoring.
Can go the other way, can't it?
Yeah, yeah, maybe that's that. I mean, there were hot, a lot of copepods and a lot of water flea, but also a lot of fleas, as you were able to see in that little video. Oh man, kind of bummed that we don't get a look at the. I have another tube in which they, they are. I've, I've put like, put, I want to say like 5 of them in here at least. So Neil, I mean, a lot of people that follow you and watch your videos, I think they come more from the wildlife things side of things, and seeing that one of my very early supporters was Father Fish. I do have a lot of aquarium owners in my amongst my viewers, and yeah, some of them
I had
are.
a that
Sorry.
so I had a free. I kept a 3 foot tank going from God. How old was I? Probably about 14 or 15, and I'm 40 now, and I only had to shut it down a year or two ago because unfortunately 2 children take up too much space. But I have still got a little tank going. But I had a 3 foot tank going for that would have been 20 years on and off. It only got shut down when I moved to my current house 10 or so years ago.
Okay.
But it was going all the rest of that time. Um, and I kept loads of things over. I kept shrimps when they first arrived on the scene in the UK. Um, had a pair of Sicilians, the legless amphibians.
Ah, okay.
What's the species?
So that was
Eh,
a terrarium. Or do they can't live
Well, no, these are
permanently in
fully
water,
aquatic
can they?
ones.
Ah, they are fully aquatic ones.
There's a
Oh, crazy.
begins with T, Natans, I think, something like that. I can't remember what it was now. Some South American one that is fully aquatic. And
A
I had
fully
them for a few
aquatic
years actually until they
amphibian.
escaped. Mm.
Kind of
Yeah, well, I
funny.
say oxalotls and yeah, um, and various catfish, and I think I've got up to 3 or 4 tanks at one point. I've still got an
There's
aquarium,
sorry,
but it's literally just cherry
there was the
shrimp.
beetle larvae, this yellowish thing that
You got
just
it.
I mean it just poked the tail out for a very small moment. The snail was a bladder
Yeah.
snail, just a very common Pfizer acuta, or what's it called? There it is.
Yeah.
There's the beetle larvae.
Oh yes. Oh.
You're familiar with this? It's like a crawly
Hmm.
guy, and it's really
Yeah, that's interesting.
pretty slick. What do you call it?
Same streamlined.
Not really bristly. Almost
Yeah.
like
Did he have like gills down the side? I was
no,
trying to.
no gills.
Oh, that's interesting. That I'm trying to think what that could be. it didn't look like a Haliplus or Haliplidae
Yeah, my book doesn't
larva.
have
They're a
the
bit more.
larvae for lots of species.
Mm. I actually have a key to them upstairs, annoyingly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can get a good enough look for
It,
keying this thing.
yeah,
And the other
it did
two
look
I
a bit
could,
like.
I guess.
Hmm, go back. Pause the video later. Um, I don't think it is it, but it looked a bit like a Gyronidea whirligig beetle larva, but I'm not convinced that is that.
Whirligig, the ones that are on the surface of the water.
Mm. They have long, thin larvae, but they've got um, gills down the side of the abdomen, like only hair-like ones. But I didn't get enough of it. I don't know if anyone else saw it better, but
It's on the back of the sleeve. We just can't see it.
if it's not
Karen
going to the
D
surface,
says cool
it's
but
got.
hard to understand audio. What's the problem with the audio? Is it too quiet, not loud enough? Because I'm afraid that's the only thing I could change.
Be my Essex accent. Or is that him coming round?
Yeah,
Here we go.
pooping. So I just have
Oh, yeah, not going a day.
there are some
Ah, now I
bristles
wonder if that's.
on this thing, but you can see that there are several of them. There's
Yeah.
several pairs of antennae peeking out behind this thing. They made their home in this thing, in this leaf, grass leaf, rotten grass
Hmm.
leaf.
In my brains now.
Ah, ah, yeah. I don't think they do a lot of. I haven't seen them swimming freely. I just see them crawling around
It's
on
well,
walls
I can
and.
rule out diving beetle because they breathe air. Someone's already said in the comments.
Yeah, they don't have a breathing. They don't have a snorkel on anything. I think when it just poked the
Mm.
tail out a minute ago, I spotted four little appendages, very small ones, like almost like the gills on a mosquito larva or something.
I'm wondering if it's. I don't think what else could be other than a. Oh, I've dug out the book now. I'm getting so curious. A very, very old book. But
I mean, a better look would
I
be
can rule
nice.
out lots of things, but I can't tell you what it is.
And there have been quite a few of them in this sample. So two people flipping through their books, trying to find a match for this beetle larva.
I've not got anything with a long antennae that's a beetle. Or maybe some sort of marsh beetle.
Ah, yeah, true. The antennae are almost as long as like these of
Um,
a
Just trying to think what other
tiny
insect
petal.
groups. It's
So
not.
the whirligig beetle larva I have in my book doesn't look
No, it's
like
got
it.
two long gills, hasn't it, on it?
Yeah, it gets some gills and doesn't have so long. The antennae aren't as long, but there's like
There's
almost 2 dozen of
Haliplus.
other 2 dozen of other beetles, or even more, without any
Mm.
larva. Hydranid.
So the oh yeah, definitely not Guaranday. Uh, is it the marsh beetle larva?
And they are, I'd
They're a bit
almost say,
fatter than they're usually
centimeter
fat and
long.
flat.
as well. They're not that
Hmm.
tiny.
I'm trying to think if there's another order of
So I use
insects
a
quite far,
German
but
book. Brittany asks, what
mm.
book are we using? I use a German book called Was lebt in Tümpel, Bach und Weiher. So I'm sorry if that doesn't help you out, but Neil might have a good book to share.
um, yeah. Well, there's going to be a very good pond book coming out at some point next year, but which will be a photo guide, sort of. It won't be to species level, but it'll be because I only know that because I'm illustrating it. And any British viewers might know Nick Baker, the famous TV naturalist who is writing it. But that Collins do a freshwater life book, which I haven't got next to me stupidly. Um,
Okay.
might quickly run
Is that
upstairs
the
and
one
grab
you have?
a
I think
couple
you
of
have a
books.
review on your website of a.
Yes, yeah, it's about the only choice you've got at the moment, really, for a general book. It's
Okay.
either that as a general book or keys and highly technical stuff. Um,
And this is illustrated with
yeah,
drawings.
mm.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's with.
yeah, all pretty good. There's another one I've got, which the drawings aren't the best, but the information's brilliant in it. I think it's called Small Freshwater Creatures or something like that. I thought I had it down here, but I don't. The book I was looking at is Animal Life in Freshwater by Helen Melanaby, and it's the sixth edition, which came out. Let's have a look. When was it printed? Oh, it's older than me, 1975. So a lot of the names are out of date, but the information's pretty good,
Okay.
apart from numbers of species in the UK, because obviously most of them have gone up, thankfully, rather than down. But
Some might have
yeah,
disappeared,
that's.
and yeah,
I'll have to look that one up when I have.
and get a good look. Terrible.
I know I have people I ask when I get stuck, and I know a couple of people that might know what that is, so or at least have an
So
idea.
gyrinid.
I don't think it's
Brittany
that.
says it's.
The nearest thing I can find is Haliplus, HALPLIUS.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that species because I already
Yeah,
had a adult earlier this
yeah.
year,
Mm.
but I don't
But
have
I'm
the
not.
larvae of this one in my book. So
When I've seen them, they're a lot darker and a lot slower, and they don't have long antennae. So, but of course, you're in Europe, so mainland Europe, you have double the diversity we have in the UK of most things. So, could be something that we don't get in the UK. Oh, there's an ostracod. Bottom left.
these crazy rainbow thingies here.
Mm.
Um, well, another thing I wanted to do actually. That one went down there. No. And the sample also was a damselfly nymph, and I didn't throw it into the observing glass because I didn't want to gobble everything up that's in here before we get a look. But I could just gently pop them in here and see if we can get a look at this damselfly larvae, because I'm fairly certain you can tell us something about that. And it would be really quick. Just as well as with the other beetle larvae, we can't really get a good look. It might just crawl under some leaves and hide from us. You can see the shadow of this the beetle larvae
Yeah.
behind the blade
Well,
of
the
grass.
damselfly nymph might help us. He might pull it out and show us it quite well as he chews it to pieces.
Maybe. Well, I'll get it.
Yeah, someone's just asked if there's a chironomid larva earlier, that red thing. I'm guessing you mean that was. We call them bloodworms here in the UK, although it gets confusing because we call
Okay,
the red
I promised too
true
much.
worms bloodworms as well. Yeah.
It's gone. I can't find the damselfly anymore. It's I prepared it
Never
in
work with animals.
a smaller vessel that was would be easier to throw in here, but it must have crawled out. I'm afraid. I can go over there with a lamp again and see if I can find it because it's drying out.
I had
I imagine.
I found a willow emerald damselfly nymph, which is the first one I've ever found. They only colonised UK 10 years ago. But it's the first time I ever found the nymph. I brought it home, um, had it overnight because I didn't get a chance to photograph or film it the night before. And as I went to film it, I noticed it was sitting really close to the surface and the wing buds had filled up. So it was trying to emerge. So I've got a brilliant time lapse of an emerging damselfly, which is
Nice.
great because I've never really got that before. But I still haven't got a nice picture of willow emerald damselfly nymph underwater because the blooming thing emerged. Like if any other of my damselflies had done that, I'd have been pleased as punch. But they never do as they're told. Damselflies.
Oh,
See if we can find a nice
oh.
ostrich. If not,
So I'll go over there with the lamp real quick and see if I can
yeah.
spot the damselfly.
Have a look. I guess I could. Anyone got any questions? Pond life while waiting. Yeah, lots of there's a cyclops swimming
No.
around.
Bummer. Can't find it.
Oh, I think I can see an ostracod in the middle of the screen.
Spectacular.
Oh, two of them there.
There were two copepods doing a thing again there for a second.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, people want to see the damselfly. I'm sorry. Was that a chironomid larva on the left? Very possible. Problem on YouTube live streams is that you have quite a bit of lag, so always hard to
I
tell what you mean if you say what
think
is
it was.
that right there right now. Sometimes we're way past past that. Gary Croft asks if this is just with a good camera lens. Basically, yes. It's a 60mm EFS Canon macro lens. I don't know if other people wouldn't probably call this a good camera lens, but I'm happy with it. There is, however, I'm using it on a Micro Four Thirds camera, so I get more magnification than 1:1, and I have a teleconverter 1.4x teleconverter in between lens and camera to get a little closer. So it fills the gap. I also have a 2.5x to 5x layover ultra macro lens and So the teleconverter kind of fills the gap in between a regular one-to-one macro and a much higher magnification. Yeah, I wonder if it's really that poor in oxygen, or why are they... in the other sample, they barely beat their plates, and here they are like full throttle.
Maybe there's more stuff in here, I guess. Don't know.
Yeah, possible. I mean, there's quite a few other respirators.
Mm.
Oh,
Then I'll shift those snails when they want in, didn't they?
yeah,
The snails are surprisingly hard to photograph and film, aren't they? Because you think they'd be the easiest because they're the slowest moving, but they constantly move or they're inside their shell. So you kind of have to, you can't do a stack of them or anything like that because they're moving too much.
yeah, and when they are moving, they like to crawl along the grass, so you just see the foot from underneath. But yeah, lots and lots of protists in this one. So yeah, I mean, we already did over an hour. I don't know. I don't want to keep you up all night, of course. I can just throw in the last tube, where I know the beetle larvae will be there and they will be visible a lot better because
There's our coronary midge again,
yeah,
having a disco.
yeah,
So that's wiggling like it's trying to get more oxygen as well.
true. Need to pop an air stone in this.
Mm.
This is a bigger, slightly bigger vessel, so it's more like a regular glass of water, not a shot glass. So yeah, I'll pop in the other sample, and we will discuss the beetle larva some more. And yeah, back in a tiny bit. Okay, here we are.
There we go.
There's somewhat less stuff to hide amongst. So long feeders. So I'm not. Maybe it isn't a
I wonder if it's not a beetle, but I can't
not
think
a
what it'll
beetle
be.
after all. But most of the flying stuff have like tail appendages, no?
Yeah.
All the flies, except for
Yeah, it's
like
not an alder
chironomids
fly,
and
but it's not a sponge fly. But it's not a
oxygen
stone fly.
rave.
I've got two tails. I'm trying to think of things that don't have tails. And that's usually, yeah. The whole thing I'm going to kick myself when I work out what it is. But oh,
It will probably come to you as soon as the
oh,
stream is
hello.
over. Zoom in.
Something called Heliocharis looks pretty good for it. Oh no, that's got little. It's got tiny little hairs down the side.
Heliocharis.
Heliocharis. Hmm.
I think that was the one that I had in my book as well, which I thought looked kind of similar. But I think the depiction in my book doesn't have doesn't have feelers. 6.
Oh yeah, now it's got the antennae. That's those blooming antennae again.
Rubies.
That's why I dismissed it first time around. Hmm. I'll have to dig out my beetle lava key and see if I can key it out something. Fact. I just thought I might have it on my.
Oh, wait a second. There are some candidates here. What is Osmilid? Does that ring a bell? Osmilids?
Hmm.
Caesira and Osmilus are two. It's like a Neuroptera, a fly.
Yeah, I was looking at sponge flies and I
Yeah,
suddenly had a
sponge fly.
thought and
Yeah, that's
brainwave.
size
But they've got
Caesira.
lots of gills down the side, haven't they? But there's a lacewing. There's an aquatic lacewing, but I think that's also got gills. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, I'll try to get it in frame again. What? That was a no-no. Okay, so here's the tail.
It'll probably have a big pair of pincers being a lacewing.
True. Of course, now it buries itself in the mud and this one looks like it's not doing too
Oh,
great.
see,
But it doesn't have like huge mandibles or anything. Doesn't look like it at least. Come on, open wide. Show us what you got.
Another one. Has that got two hooks on its tail?
It has some
Isn't it? It'd
stuff
be a
stuck
caddis.
to its tail.
And then caddis have gills as well. It does look a
The
bit
other one
beetly,
again.
doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
It reminds
This
it
is
reminds
just.
me of something, but I can't.
It looks like almost a earwig without the pincers at the tail.
Exactly what I've been thinking. Yeah,
Something. It's also rather
thinking
shiny if you
earwiggy.
look at it with the naked eye. It's pretty. Oh, it looks like a mealworm. The abdomen looks like a mealworm. I think this one isn't clumsy. I think this one is not doing great.
Scott's hanging around waiting.
The other one is pretty lively. However, I think Nipper might be right because I haven't seen them attacking anything. I haven't seen them eating anything that was alive. Just yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just you can't know.
Yeah, I think along the same lines as Brittany with the. It looks a bit neopteran. Does look a bit late-wingy, but I think they should have. But yeah, so the marsh beetle larvae
It's like
are all
flat.
wide-bodied.
Yeah, it's really
Oh, hello.
flattened.
Oh, look. Has that got? I know that's the edge of its plates, isn't it? It's sort of flattened. I thought there might be gills on the side, but they're not there.
Yeah, it's
It
strange.
does
It
look
looks
a bit
like
marsh
it's
beetle-y.
has gills inside or underneath the carapace or
I
something.
think that's the.
Underneath
So
the
marsh beetles have that sort of extensions on the side of the abdomen. Maybe it's some sort of marsh beetle, but it's a lot more elongate than the. Oh, maybe not.
That's the butt.
Yeah, that's got me
That's
stumped, that one.
that's the tail.
Always good to find something you don't know what it is. It's cool. Exciting. Probably not
Yeah,
native
so
to the
it's
UK,
just
so I've got that excuse.
another instance for proving that you don't need to look at a ton of ponds. You can just sample one on the same pond over and over again, and you will see all kinds of different things. I've sampled this in February this year, and I've took like maybe 5 or 6 samples in the course of this year. And actually, the February one was one of the coolest, with a lot of stentors and other big protists in there. And then in later in spring and summer, it kind of stagnated. It was at one time I just found ovipods and bladder snails. And yeah, now there's there's greater diversity. But of course, it all depends as well on your sampling technique and the spot you choose, and the depth you sample, or the technique of how you how you gather your samples. But yeah, that kind of concludes the things I wanted to talk about with the.
I've just googled marsh beetle larva, and the first picture that comes up does look. There's a much more elongate one than the ones I'm familiar with. So if I had to put a name on it, I'd say marsh beetle larva, but I'll have a proper look later on. There you go. Oh, that's now.
So I mean, we can chat a little bit more, but what about the your podcast? What's
Yeah,
going on? Do you still work on new episodes? I think the frequency has
yeah, it's been a bit
dropped a little
sporadic.
bit,
Unfortunately, my
but
co-host hasn't been very well, so
oh,
I sort of held
sorry to
off
hear
till
that.
she was feeling better. But yeah, not great progress there. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, there should be some new episodes coming out
I mean,
very
there's
soon.
tons of how many episodes are there? I think over 100.
Oh,
Is
we're
that right?
closing on 100. I want
Or
to get to at least 100 if we
close to
do have
100.
to take an extended
There's
break.
there's quite a few to quite a big archive
Yeah,
to dig through, and they don't lose a lot of like actuality. What do you call it? They won't.
they're still relevant.
Yeah,
Don't
they're
date,
still
don't
relevant.
date too quickly. The science of Hydra hasn't changed. Well, that said, though, I think they found another. They might have found another species in the UK since I wrote it. But yeah, there's episodes on Hydra, coronamid mid, no, not coronamid midge, phantom midge larva, and
Oh, cool,
a few other pondy things on there. But yeah, it's just general wildlife, really.
cool. And you have a trough video, so the podcast is called UK Wildlife. Sorry.
Yeah, not very original.
Well, it doesn't need to be original. It's just it's
It
recognizable.
helps with Google, so it's always helpful. But, yeah, there's. I haven't got anything else to plug. Yeah, just come check out the Pond Lab channel if you're not following me already. Should be
Yeah, the
with a
Pond
bit of
Lab
luck
channel, of course. I mean, I've mentioned
dive,
that in all
diving
the
into.
announcements.
Yeah, so
But yeah, do check out Neil's channel, Pond Lab and UK Wildlife on YouTube. The Pond Lab channel is particularly exciting if you're fond of ponds and the living things you can
I did
find in
just
them.
post a dragonfly video on the other one. So there's a in the UK there's a site of Somerset. It's in the southwest of England, and it's a massive one of our largest marshlands. And there's a mass gathering of four-spotted chaser dragonflies some years. You're talking hundreds, if not thousands. They all roost together, and if you get there at 4 a.m. in the morning, like I did, you can see them climb up all the reeds as the sun comes up. And yeah, I filmed that, which was rather wonderful, but yeah. And the YouTube algorithm, of course, tanks the whole thing. So it's only got 200 views, I think. But never mind.
Yeah, my last video as well. You don't have to do it for the views.
No, that's true. Even if you're monetized.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the niche and the. So I'm not monetized.
Exactly.
But I guess it's you're not getting rich of this yet.
Oh no. God no. Even when you've got footage like this or like you've got, um, it's hard to sell it because all the program makers want to know how you filmed it so they can do it themselves and not pay you.
Yeah, pay someone else. In fact,
Yeah. Had that a couple of times.
like they're both doing better.
Mm.
Maybe the other one just had a headache.
Yeah.
Something stirring in here.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean we can do this again sometime in the future, maybe.
I'll be well up for that. Yeah. It's been great.
Um, but I think I'll have to come to that soon. Starting to
Yeah.
get a little,
Bit half on the orders
little
on now.
tired. And I'll work on my machine and fix the soldering so we have all axes working for the next time. But this time, yeah, I mean, it was working this afternoon, and like an hour before the stream, I turned on the machine. I had a preliminary look on the samples, and all of a sudden the Z axis, so the one that does this, wouldn't work anymore. And yeah,
Oh,
bummer.
still better than my beanbag and wobbly table.
Well, if I don't move too much, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I wanna change that. Yes. Concrete floor is oh, what are these doing? The
And
concrete
it's got
floor is
no
already
antennae
in place,
angled.
but the room that will house my future laboratory isn't isolated at all yet, and yeah, some gaps in the wall have to be filled up and stuff like that. So yeah, let's see what the future holds. See how much streams there will be in the future. I'll have to look for my next guest, and yeah, I'll be sick or hospitalized in December, so I might not be able to do it in December. But yeah, I'm still at it, and if you need pond stuff and my channel doesn't publish anything, then do check out Neil's channel. Great stuff.
I'll have to publish a video then.
Hmm?
I haven't done one for a month, and I've or two. Maybe I might do a live anyway. I'll have to have you on my channel and I do my lives as well. So
That will be
yeah,
fun. Yeah,
I'll
so
sort
keep
out
your
my
eyes
internet.
peeled, people. There's more stuff to come. And thank you, Neil, for coming on the stream. It was
Oh, thanks for inviting me. It's been
great
great.
fun. And yeah, have a nice Sunday night, everyone. Goodbye. Thanks for
Bye.
joining and all. Put up this screen.